Hello, my name is David Kish and I work with Avaya Global Support Services. And in this video, I would like to show you the possibilities what you can configure on an ESXi host regarding the management and the security options. So first of all, let's discuss what is DCUI in the ESXi host. DCUI is, let me shrink this properly so you will see all of the screen. Okay, so as you can see, this is the DCUI, Direct Console User Interface, which is what you see when you go into a lab room and install an ESXi host. This is what you see when you plug in the monitor and the keyboard. Now I used the ILO functionality of the HP server, so that's why I can share this video on the screen. So originally when you install the ESXi host, you enter the password, a root password, and with that at the moment we will log in. In the DCUI, you can set the network and other options, but now what is important for this video is the troubleshooting options. Here there are two options which I would like to discuss with you. The first is enable ESXi shell option and the other is the enable SSH option. The first is the ESXi shell option, which is the first one. The other is the SSH option to be turned on, but it's important to note that the ESXi shell and the SSH two very different aspects of the same coin. So the ESXi shell gives you the command line access other than the DCUI, and the SSH gives the possibility to remotely connect to the server itself. So if you would like to use command line and SSH, you need to turn on both of them. The DCUI can be accessed only from the server room, but we will discuss later that there is an option to turn this off. So okay, so let's turn on ESXi shell. Now it's enabled, and let's enable SSH. So as we turned on the ESXi shell option and the SSH option, we should be able to access to the ESXi host. So let's start a PuTTY session. Here it is. Let's log in with the default password, and as you can see, we have a shell here. So these two options are both needed to able to access to the ESXi host with the command line interface. So if you would like to access to a ESXi host remotely with the shell access, then you need to turn on both of the options. So let's check the same settings from a vSphere client. I will exit from here. I will make this a little smaller. ESXi host first, and check how can we play with these settings. As you can see, you already see a warning here on the summary page that ESXi shell has been enabled with SSH. Let's check where we can turn this off. So if you go to the configuration and you go below to the security profile, there you can see firewall and services. In the services you can do the same as we done in the DCUI before, but there is an extra catch here. As you can see, there is an SSH and there is ESXi shell here. But you can also turn off the DCUI, which we already mentioned. This is the Direct Console User Interface, this page. So you can turn this off also in the vSphere client. So let's turn off SSH here, options, and let's select this option that we have to manually always configure what we want. Let's press OK. Let's do the same for the ESXi shell option. So if you would like to be very secure regarding your ESXi host, then you can disable DCUI, so there will be no unauthorized access even from the server on the comms room. So let's kill that also. Stop. And click here. And since we disabled DCUI, let's check what will happen if we try to log in from the DCUI. you will see this. Direct console access has been disabled by the administrator. So this is how they cannot access. So we discussed the ESXi shell, the SSH and the DCUI. There is some extra setting that you can set, but only with the vCenter. So now let's log into a vCenter from a vSphere client and see what additional option we can use. I will close this and let's log in here. Okay, so I have my Avaya Mentor data center here. Let's add our host. Okay, and the option which I would like to show you, here you can see I have 3 VMs already on the host. And here this is lockdown mode. If you enable this, this means that the ESXi host cannot be accessed directly from its IP or from its fully qualified domain name, and only the vCenter allowed to touch it. So if you turn off everything, you turn off ESXi shell, you turn off SSH, you turn off DCUI, and you enable lockdown mode, then you are totally safe. So let's enable lockdown mode. This means we cannot log in later on. Let's wait until it's added, and then I will open a new vSphere client instance, and okay, it's added, and we enabled lockdown mode. This is what you should say, that you don't have permission to do this. Okay, so this is the message what you should get. So let's turn off lockdown mode. How can you do that? You go into the configuration, you go to the security profile, and here below you can see lockdown mode. Let's disable that one. Okay, if I start vSphere client instance again and try to log in, now it should work. Let's see. So if the lockdown mode is disabled, still when you add a host to the vCenter, now the vCenter settings will apply and you cannot make changes in the host directly. You can see this on this warning screen. I hope this was useful for you and wish you a lovely day. Please contact us at mentor.avaya.com or visit us on Twitter or on YouTube. If you have any questions regarding the technical information, please visit support.avaya.com.